My name's Oscar Sainsbury, and today I'm going to present a project called Lily's Shed. So the shed's designed as more than just a storage space for tools and equipment. It proposes a garden room of minimal shelter with a number of flexible uses. A series of sliding panels allow for the space to transform from fully closed to varying degrees of openness, both to the existing garden and the rear laneway. This is the client, Lily. So the shed responds to a fairly typical inner and middle ring suburban condition where we have large residential sites with generous rear gardens and the rear laneway access. These gardens often contain mature canopy trees, but are increasingly being reduced to accommodate larger house sizes, with renovations undertaken predominantly to the rear of the site, often due to heritage constraints. This project's an example of a small space that can be used in a variety of ways and has access through the main house for the owner and also through the rear laneway for potential guests or tenants. The new shed replaces an existing dilapidated shed, but takes cues from its siting, materiality and form. Using the footprint of the existing shed as a basis for the new design, maintains the mature garden and its role as a loose divide between the main house. There was also an ambition in the project to open up and connect the new shed to the rear laneway. So the shed furthers the brief, which was really just for a lockable storage area, by creating a garden room that has a number of potential uses, including a home studio, a workshop, or possibly a potential rental. A series of sliding panels open the space to the garden and rear laneway, allowing for user customisation according to one's needs. The natural ground flows into the shed, allowing for easy use of lawnmowers and wheelbarrows, and also provides an undercover area for messier work, such as potting plants. I'll unpack the approach to the project in three key ideas, which were materiality and form, siting and garden, and the laneway connection. So the existing shed contained a number of key elements that the new shed worked with. An expressed timber structural frame was used, with the structural layout continuing within the sliding panels but using an SHS frame. Custom orb cladding and roofing was used throughout, as well as on the sliding screens, which you can see here closed. An earth floor was maintained for part of the space, with a concrete floor and bench included to increase the function and use of the remainder of the shed. A pitched roof and highlight sections and the east and west of polycarb custom orb allow for natural light into the space. And this is especially important when the shed's in its fully closed position with all the sliding panels shut. The importance of the existing garden relates to the shed's siting and its openings, the mature vegetation that existed, as well as some existing entry pathways. And this view from the house shows the mature garden, which acts as a loose buffer between the house and the shed. This buffer was established around the siting of the original shed, and this siting was maintained for the new shed to protect the established trees and other vegetation. Shown here, you can see the mature plants and trees and the sort of porous screening that they provide from the garden area. Finally, the connection of the shed outwards to the garden has been established through the continuation of the earth floor, ground, and also mediated through the use of operable screens, which you can see here in the open position. And these are just some of those ideas shown in section. So with the existing shed, there was the rear laneway access, but no connection through the shed. The new shed continues the idea of this rear lane access, but also provides a new opening through one of the rear sliding panels. And when both the laneway and the garden side panels are open, a continuous connection is created from the house, through the garden and the shed, and ultimately out to the laneway, which you can see here in plan. So the shed was designed with simple form and functional construction details using off-the-shelf materials and components where possible. Locally sourced timber was used for the frame and rafters, with plywood used for internal cladding, custom or sheeting for all external walls and roofing. It provides the possibility for simple adjustments during construction. For example, by reversing the plywood lining to the inside of the stud frame, and the addition of insulation and door seals offers a more thermally secure building, and this could expand the range of potential uses. Construction took place during a particularly wet period of late winter, spring last year, and so the builder chose to prefabricate the frame in his factory and then dismantled it and reinstalled it on site in a single day. The design uses bolt fixings and screw fixings to allow for this method, and it also then provides for future alteration or adaptation if required. The building is flexible in its relationship to climate, with solar access, rain and cross ventilation all controlled through active user participation. But more broadly is this idea of a social sustainability, which encourages a more diverse range of spaces, sheds, studios, offices, guest accommodation in suburban Melbourne. Entrance via the rear laneway supports these broader possibilities for use, access and tenancy. So while the design responds to the client's immediate needs, it also considers broader needs such as maintaining garden and mature canopy trees, flexible uses over time, and the activation of rear laneways within these suburbs. Seen here are 3 examples of just potential configurations of the plan. There's a home office which is just using the existing shed structure, a larger studio space where the concrete floor has been expanded to the full extent of the space, and a potential guest accommodation area with a really small kitchenette and bathroom to be provided as well. This was the existing shed, and that's the proposed, or the finished, yeah.